The piano stopped cold, like a bullet had hit the keys. Garrett stood mid-sip, whiskey halfway to his mouth, eyes locked on the paper that just drifted down from the sheriff's wall. The face was unmistakable. His brother Eli, same square jaw, same dead stare. The saloon went quiet as a churchyard. Spurs stopped clinking. Garrett bent, picked it up. $5,000. Dead or alive? His hand trembled. Not from fear, from memory. He hadn't seen Eli in 2 years. Not since Dodge. Not since the blood. And now the only man fast enough to take down Eli was him. Eli stared into the fire, cigarette hanging from his lips, smoke curling like a question he didn't want answered. The poster crinkled in his hands, warmed by the fire but colder than any wind off the plains. Garrett, dotting. His twin. His shadow. His blood. Same face, same reputation. There used to be a team, the best bounty pair west of the Mississippi. Then came that botched job in Dodge, and a bullet that shouldn't have missed. Now they'd put prices on each other's heads. He folded the poster slow. If Garrett was coming, it meant only one of them was riding out of this hellhole breathing. Garrett's boots hit the dirt in perfect rhythm, one step, one heartbeat. The town stretched before him, buildings bathed in amber light, shadows dragging long like the past. He didn't rush. Didn't need to. Eli would know he was here. That's how it worked with twins. You feel it before you see it. He passed the saloon, the old stable where they used to hide whiskey bottles, the post where they tied up their first bounty. People moved out of the way, silent, watching. They didn't see a man hunting a fugitive. They saw a brother hunting a ghost. And they knew better than to get between them. Eli crouched low on the stable roof, every muscle coiled, breath shallow. He'd seen a silhouette enter town just before dusk, coat flapping like a vulture's wing. He knew that stride, confident, deliberate, damn near identical to his own. Garrett, dot. Of course he'd come. They always said only a twin could mirror a man enough to outdraw him. Eli slid his revolver from the holster, moonlight tracing the barrel. He wasn't ready to pull the trigger. Not yet. But if Garrett was here for the bounty, and not answers, this would end in blood. One shot. One heartbeat. That's all it would take. Garrett stepped into the saloon without breaking stride. Eli was already there, sitting alone in the corner like that the last time they'd spoken. Only now, the air didn't crackle with laughter. It choked on silence. Garrett lit a match slow, the flame dancing before vanishing into the cigarette. Eli just watched, thumb spinning a coin across the table. They put a price on both of us, Garrett said finally. Funny, huh? Eli didn't smile. Not the kind of funny you laugh at. No one else moved. Even the bartender froze behind the counter. Twin shadows, twin guns, twin destinies tangled in smoke and memory. They took it upstairs, away from eyes and ears. Just like always. Same room they holed up in before the Holloway job. But this time the guns weren't for someone else. Garrett paced near the window, rain drumming hard against the glass. Eli circled near the bed, boots creaking on warped boards. Between them, a table, a loaded rifle, a flask, and two truths unspoken. They want one of us dead, Garrett said. Maybe both, Eli replied. The silence that followed was louder than any thunder. Because they both knew the town wasn't big enough, and neither was their past. Eli spotted them first, 5 riders moving fast, too well armed to be ranch hands. They weren't from town. They were bounty rats, vultures with badges and no code. Someone had upped the ante. $5,000 wasn't just a price. It was a fuse. Garrett stood beside him, silent. "They're not here for one of us," Eli muttered. "They're here for both." The sun painted their coats blood red as they rode. The brothers didn't move, didn't speak. The trail was narrowing, the trap closing. If they wanted to live, they'd have to do something neither was ready to say out loud. Fight side by side again. Garrett loaded the shotgun in silence, barrel glinting in gaslight. Eli checked the windows. Below them, boots scraped wood. The bounty team had found the hotel. "Still think we should have split?" Garrett whispered. Eli didn't answer. They pressed back to back, revolvers drawn, breaths sensing like old times. In the quiet, it was almost like it used to be. Almost. But this wasn't trust. It was necessity. They built a reputation on being fast, ruthless, and always one step ahead. Now, with guns closing in from below, it was time to prove they hadn't lost their edge, or each other. Glass exploded inward as the first shot rang out. Garrett dove through smoke and shattered wood, rolling behind the poker table. Eli fired from the upstairs balcony, his revolver barking fury down the staircase. Men screamed. Bottles shattered. The piano caught a stray bullet and groaned its last note. The saloon became a war zone. The twins moved like mirrors, never crossing, never clashing, always covering the gaps. For a moment, no one could tell who was the outlaw and who was the law. When the smoke cleared, only two figures remained standing, both breathing heavy, both bleeding, and both still aiming at each other. They stood alone now, twin shadows etched in dust and smoke. Guns raised, breath ragged, hands steady. Garrett's shirt was torn, a slash bleeding near the collarbone. Eli had a limp, left boot dragging slightly. But neither blinked, neither lowered their aim. "Was it you who sent the poster?" Garrett asked. Eli shook his head slow. "Wasn't me, but I didn't burn it either." The room was a ruin, bodies cooling, glass glittering on the floor. Outside, the town held its breath. Inside, two brothers stared down a lifetime of choices. Both too proud to step back, both too damned alike to miss. Eli saw it. The twitch in Garrett's finger. The way his jaw set, just like when they used to bluff at poker. He knew what was coming. And still, he didn't move. Didn't flinch. Garrett's aim didn't waver either. One of them had to break. One of them had to believe. "You gonna pull, brother?" Eli asked, voice low. Garrett didn't answer. Didn't have to. In that sliver of silence, something cracked. Rage, guilt, maybe the bond that had held them together through gunfire and betrayal. And in that space, someone finally blinked. The gun hit the floor with a dull thud. Garrett had dropped it. Slowly, deliberately. Eli didn't move for a full breath, heart hammering in his throat. "You always were the stubborn one," Garrett said, stepping back. His hands were still raised, but his eyes burned with something deeper than anger. Something that looked an awful lot like regret. "I'm tired of running from blood," he added. Eli lowered his own weapon. No words, no promises. Just two men who could have killed each other, and didn't. Outside, the sun dipped low, and inside, the storm passed without a shot fired. They sat on the saloon steps like nothing had happened, like the floorboards behind them weren't soaked in blood and broken glass. Garrett passed the flask without a word. Eli took a long pull, then winced. His ribs were cracked, maybe worse. The town stayed quiet, curtains shifting, doors cracked just enough to peek. But no one spoke. No one asked. Twin killers turned brothers again. Or something close to it. They'll still come for us, Eli muttered. Garrett shrugged. Then let 'em. For now, the prairie wind was calm. For now, blood had dried where it fell. And for now, they were still alive. Past the county line, in a town they hadn't yet burned or saved, a deputy unrolled fresh paper. 2 names, 2 faces, same eyes, same scars. A new bounty, joint, double the price. No longer rivals. Now, fugitives. Partners in crime or something bigger. The sheriff didn't look pleased, but he nodded. They're moving together now, he said. Means they're twice as dangerous. The poster slapped against the corkboard, tacked into place with a single iron nail. Above it, the heading, Wanted, Dead, or Alive. Below it, the truth no price could erase. Family. They rode hard, side by side, twin trails of dust rising into the dying light. No words, just the beat of hooves and the echo of choices made. The sun was behind them now, setting the prairie ablaze in gold and fire. Tomorrow they'd be hunted. Tomorrow might never come. But today, they were brothers again, bound not by blood or by law, but by what they chose not to do. No graves, no bullet holes, just 2 figures fading into the wide open west. Together. For now. The outpost was silent when they passed through. No barkeeps, no travelers, just wind and ash. Eli stepped inside first, found the old table where they'd once divvied up bounties. Garrett followed, slower now, tired. The wanted poster lay curled on the edge, faded, creased, almost forgotten. He tossed his revolver beside it. Didn't need it today. Maybe not tomorrow either. They were running, sure, but not from justice. From the past. From choices they made with young hands and colder hearts. The West didn't care. It never had. But that table, that gun, that was memory. And it weighed more than any bounty ever could. Garrett rode ahead that night. Said he needed air. Needed space. Eli let him go. No chains. No guns. Just silence between them again. The kind that meant something had changed. Maybe for good. Maybe for worse. When Eli finally stepped out, the wind had wiped half the tracks. Only one trail now, curling north, under moonlight. He didn't follow right away. Just watched the horizon. Wondered if this was the start of the end, or the end of something older than both of them. Either way, blood didn't lie. Not even in silence. The prairie was silver with moonlight when their paths met again. No words. No drawl. Just boots crunching toward a crossroads. A new poster flapped in the wind, nailed to a sun-bleached sign. The bounty was higher now. More desperate. More dangerous. Eli glanced at it, then at Garrett. Garrett didn't even look. They turned west, same pace, same rhythm. The law would chase them. The past would test them. But for now, under that wide, brutal sky, they were brothers again, bound by blood.